What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and today I am talking about the latest offering from Evergrey, Architects of a New Weave. This also came out on June 5th, this time on Napalm Records, and this is the band's 15th studio full-length overall. I have reviewed their last two albums, and they were both excellent. I believe they both made my year-end list. I would think so, but in case they didn't make the year-end list, they probably should have. But for those who don't know, this is a Swedish progressive power metal band. More so prog metal than power metal, though there is definitely some power metal moments in their entire catalog from what I do know about them. Mainly the only Evergrey I've really checked out is everything, for the most part, since The Atlantic, which came out in 2019. So I've been kind of keeping up with their current stuff, but I just haven't gone back to like their earlier releases, but that day will come at some point. So when I saw Evergrey had a new album coming out, I'm like, well, I gotta keep a streak going. This is the third album in a row that I am reviewing from this band, and, well, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, after the intro track, Welcome to the Pattern, which kind of sets the mood and the atmosphere for this album, which, given the lyrical content and, like, some of these song titles, I'm kind of getting a sense of a theme with this album, and that is, like, no matter how much misery is going on in the world, find what you're passionate about, find what you truly love about life, and embrace it and be positive within yourself, whether it be through means of spiritualism or anything else along those lines, but just try and be a better person. That's kind of the vibe I get from a lot of these songs. And right out of the gate with the track The Shadow Self, it really comes in swinging with big, heavy chugs and syncopation, which there's a lot of cool syncopated moments across the board on this album. Like, I would argue this is one of Evergrey's more heavier albums. Like, it's a little heavier, but still maintaining great melody and hooks. Like, again, like, I basically wrote throughout the majority of this, of the notes I took, big or massive or soaring choruses, because I almost compare, like, the chorus style of Evergrey to a band like Seven Dust, where no matter how heavy or lavish or lush the music gets, the choruses always deliver some great hook, whether it be in the guitars or the vocals themselves. Like, Tom England, not only is he a great guitarist, as you hear throughout this whole album, amazing vocalist. Like, he's got a great, like, soulful delivery to him, and he can carry these choruses up to the heavens and it wouldn't feel out of place. And right out of the gate with The Shadow Self, like, the big choruses that come in have some, like, choirs going on, which just makes it feel even more powerful, which is really cool. Now, as far as where it gets darker, like, because there's a lot of, like, sunshine bright kind of moments on this album. It does get a little bit dark. Like, the beginning of the title track, there's some more darker riffs going on. There's chugs that lead into, like, really cool gallops that could be power metal at times, but I would also kind of say they're also, like, classic heavy metal gallops for the most part. And then the opening melodies on the track The World Is on Fire, it's, like, more haunting and a little more suspenseful, you can say, for the most part. And then I would say one of the big, like, standouts in terms of where it gets, like, really, really heavy would be on the song The World Is on Fire. There's some flat out Gojira syncopation going on there where the riffs and the drums just come together and are syncopated so well, nothing feels sloppy, and it's a heavy as hell moment. But yet the chorus on that song is pretty somber. Like, this is one of the few choruses on the album where it doesn't feel triumphant. It feels more reflective and sad to a degree. And it does kind of fit with the title of the song, I will admit. But as far as, like, the more classic heavy metal moments, primarily on the song Heaven, big gallops with a classic heavy metal flurry, but with some tasteful synths and keyboards. Like, the keyboards don't feel intrusive on this album. They feel perfectly complemented by the guitars, or they complement the guitars very well. It doesn't overpower everything. And it's in a good place in the mix. Like, I will go ahead and talk about the mix. Tom did the production. I didn't see who mixed the album. I wouldn't be shocked if Tom did. But it's a well balanced mix. Like, the bass is very prominent in this album. Like, you get driving bass lines you can hear on The Shadow Self, Leaving the Emptiness, Call Off Your Lions. Like, those songs really, really bring out like a great bass hook, which is really, really cool. And as far as like where it gets like really soaring and like bordering on the more power metal side of their sound, the back-to-back duality of the songs, the script and Leaving the Emptiness. The script, you get this big soaring melody at the start, but you get it on top of like a slower rhythm. I don't want to necessarily say doomy, but you do also get some pretty cool acoustics before you get this huge dynamic shift into the chorus and pretty pianos. And again, when the synths show up, they're very tasteful. A good example would be in the song Longing, where you get like clean guitar melodies, but they're more 80s inspired synth work, I should say, going on there too, plus some awesome syncopated riffs and drums. That's just ugh, nasty. But going back to the song Leaving the Emptiness, that song is like the most power metal oriented track on the album. Like, it's got that energy behind it, catchy as all get out. It's just, woo! We're going back and forth between feeling really, really triumphant and then feeling like we're just gonna ride our horses into battle for the most part. Um, but then you get to tracks like Call Off Your Lions, which has this great push and pull dynamic between feeling very heavy and chuggy, but also really soulful and tuneful, especially within the vocals. Chains of Shame, like, again, catchy chugs and big soaring chorus. But I will say the two songs I thought that were huge standouts were A Burning Flame and the closing track, The Prophecy. A Burning Flame, it's almost a Melodeath song. Like, it's got more Melodeath drums and riffs going on, and a huge triumphant chorus, which makes sense considering we have guest vocals from one Michael Ston from Dark Tranquillity, and he's doing clean vocals, and he's perfect with Tom. Like, these two harmonize together so well in the chorus, and they even trade off of vocal lines, and it's really, really awesome to hear. But then the closer, The Prophecy, it's once again very soaring, pretty pianos. Some of Tom's best vocals show up here in one of the best choruses. Hell, there's, I would almost argue, a Deep Purple vibe because you get like Hammond organs. It's got a bit of like that more mid 70s Deep Purple style, kind of like the Mark III era with Glenn Hughes and David Coverdale. Like, it's got a little bit of that vibe to it. So yeah, like, all over the place in terms of influence. Like, you get moments that remind you of like classic power metal, some classic prog like Dream Theater and stuff like that, or bands that border the lines of both, like Camelot, for example, or even Symphony X. But yet you get these like catchy choruses that can almost make you think of Seven Dust, but then these big, heavy, chuggy, syncopated moments that make you think of bands like Gojira, and to a lesser degree Meshuggah as well, only it's not 8-string guitars, it's 7-string, and Gojira doesn't do 7-string, so it's kind of like that in-between space for me. But like I said, the production's killer. And one thing I forgot to mention, and how could I forget this? The guitar work is unbelievable when it comes to the leads. Like, Tom and I forget the other guitarist, great like lead trade-offs between each other and harmonies. Like, I wrote harmonies for a bunch of tracks, but some of the best harmonies I would say would be in the song Heaven, right along with the big lead trade-offs. Like, Tom shows he can shred as well as the other guitarist, and they just complement each other so well. As far as any negatives go, I don't really have many gripes, other than maybe the intro track could have been left off of the album, if you ask me, and maybe I could have expected like some longer tracks. Like Call Off Your Lions was the longest track of the album at nearly 6 minutes. A good chunk of this album's like in the 4 to 5 minute mark. I would have expected to hear more 6, 7 minute songs to really give off more of that prog vibe. But also, a very important positive with this album is that, yeah, it can feel dark at times, but they'll give you moments of light where it's like the sun's coming out. And it's like shining on you to tell somebody who's overly negative, stop being a negative douchebag and embrace that there is positivity in the world kind of vibes. So overall, I'm gonna go 4 out of 5. I think this is yet another great album from one of the most consistent bands in Sweden, and yet one of the more overlooked bands in Sweden, if you ask me. So, if you are a fan of, Dream Theater, Camelot, Symphony X, I would even argue a little bit of like Catatonia, Soen, even in spots like Gojira, and I would even throw in Deep Purple. I'd say check this out. This is really, really cool. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, thank you for watching. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.